I edited this entire video using only KineMaster. Welcome to the complete beginner tutorial for KineMaster video editing app. KineMaster has been one of the most popular video editing apps for Android and for iPhone for many years. And in today's video, we're gonna look at how you can edit your video from beginning to end using KineMaster. Even if you've never edited a video before, you're gonna be able to do it today. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. So once you download the KineMaster app, this is the home screen that you're gonna be presented with when you open the app for the very first time. This is what you're gonna see. We have our create new button. That's where we create our video, your project button, and you also have a subscribe button. So KineMaster does have a paid version of the app that unlocks a few additional features and also lets you get rid of the watermark that comes with the free version. But in this case, we're only gonna focus on editing the video in the free version of the app. So to begin doing that, we're gonna jump right into it and tap on the create new button over here on the top. I'm gonna tap on create new, and the first thing it asks is the aspect ratio and what aspect ratio you want for your videos. You have a few different aspect ratios by default depending on what social media you want to post your videos on. So for default, it's on YouTube, which is 16:9. And you can also set it for TikTok in a vertical 9:16 ratio, or you can have a square video for Instagram, stuff like that. So whatever your ratio is, you can select that here. And then we're gonna go ahead and tap on next. So once you tap on next, you're gonna jump right into the interface of KineMaster. It's pretty simple to understand. On the top left here is where we see your video. On the bottom, you have your timeline, which is where you place all of your clips and you can align them up. And you have your settings panel on the left and you have a few more settings on the right. So it'll make a little bit more sense when we bring in some clips into the editor. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna bring in some media. And to do that, you're gonna go and tap on the media button right here. And below the media button, you also have a camera button. So if you tap on that, the app allows you to make videos or take photos using the app itself. So you don't have to go out into your camera app and then take the videos and photos and bring them in. If that's what you want to do, you can do it from within the app. So let's go ahead and jump into media. And when you tap media, you're going to be presented with the options of where you want to bring your media in from. And we're going to go ahead and select the album. And I'm just going to go ahead and find some clips that we can use. So let's go ahead and bring this one in and this one in. So here you can see now we have the clips in the timeline at the bottom here, and you can scrub through it. You can scroll through the clip and watch the clip in its entirety. And the viewing panel is where you see the video or get a preview of it. And you can scroll all the way back to the first clip that we have here. So you can see we have our clips lined up in a particular order that I brought them in. So you can also zoom out of your timeline to see all of your clips just by pinching and zooming. And now we have all three of our clips right here in the app. On the right side of your screen, you have a little section where you can bring in your media, add audio or music to your video, and adjust the layers, whatever you have. If you want to add text or something like that, if you want to stack up videos on top of your existing videos, you can do that from there. And at the bottom, we have your record button, which is what you can use to record your voiceover. And in the middle, like we mentioned before, it's a camera button, which allows you to access the camera directly. And you can bring in media that way. On the top left of the wheel, you would see a delete button, which is actually a button to delete the watermark, but you would need the pro version for that. You cannot delete the watermark in the free app. So we're not gonna worry about that button right there, but that's what it's for. If you actually wanna delete a clip or something, you just have to tap on it and then you have a delete button on the left. But the one on the top is something that we're not gonna worry about because we're using the free version of the KineMaster app. So below the delete button on the bottom left of the wheel, we have the asset store. That is where you would get your stock footage and audio by KineMaster. So if you wanna bring in some additional videos to add to your existing video, you can do that by going into the asset store and you can download or purchase different visual effects, videos, audio, music, stuff like that. On the bottom right of the wheel, we have a play button, which is what you would use to preview your clips. So if you tap on it, it's gonna play your videos. But if you tap and hold, it's gonna take your video to full screen, and then you can go back by pressing the X on the top left of the panel. And the last button in that area is on the top right, which is your export button. That is what we would use once we've finished editing the video. You can go ahead and tap on that and we can select our settings and export our video to our camera roll. So now let's take a look at some of the additional settings that we have to edit our videos. One of the most common things is to trim and split your clip. So let's take a look at this. The first clip that we have two different clips in one clip. So you have a time lapse here at first, then we have a vertical time lapse of the night sky. So I want to split this clip in two right at the transition point. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to first bring the playhead. The playhead is the red line that you see here that shows you where in your video you are in the timeline. So I'm just gonna scrub to the part where the night video or the vertical video starts. And now I want to split the clip here. So these are two different clips, and I have a horizontal time lapse and a vertical night time lapse. So I want to go ahead and split that. So to do that, you can click on the split trim button, which is the first button when you have a clip selected. If you don't see the settings, you just tap on the clip and you will see the split and trim and all the other options that come with adjusting the clip settings. So once we have that selected, I'm going to tap on trim and split, and it gives you a few different options. If you want to trim to the left of the playhead, to the right, or split at the playhead, or if you want to insert a freeze frame, which is an effect that a lot of people use in their videos. So it makes it a lot easier by presenting that option right there in the trim split area. For this example, we're just going to go ahead and click on split at playhead. So I'm going to tap on that, and as you can see, now the video has been separated. And we have our first time lapse and the second one, and they're both different videos. So another thing you might have noticed is that when you have a clip selected, you have a yellow border around the clip. That tells you that first of all, your clip is selected, and then second, you can also trim out the beginning and end parts just by moving the handles at either end of the clip. So if I want to trim out the end of this video right here, if I wanted to trim this part out, all I need to do is tap and hold down the handle, and then I'm going to slide it to where I need, and as you can see, it snaps right in place, and now we have the video clipped at that part. And you can do the same thing for the beginning. If you want to take out the beginning part, if you want to be very specific, I can just bring my playhead to where we want the video to start, and then I can just drag on the handle in the beginning, and it's going to snap into place, and that's where our video starts. The next option in the list is called slip. This allows you to slide the area of your clip. So if in case you want to keep the same duration for your clip, but you want to choose a different part of your clip to be shown, like if I wanted to go back to the beginning of this video that we trimmed out, but I don't want to change the length of the clip, I can tap on slip, and then once you do, you're presented with the full video, and within the red rectangle, you have the part that is visible, so you can just move it around. And if I wanted to take it to the beginning, so the video will start at the beginning. So this way, I didn't change the length of the cut that we had for this video. All I did was change which part of the video was visible in that section. So the next option in the list is speed, and that is where you would adjust the speed of your clip to speed it up or slow it down. If you've shot it in a high frame rate, you can slow it down a little bit, or if you want to speed up your clip, for example, this time lapse, it's a little bit slow. If I want to speed it up, let's say 4x or 8x, I could do that by tapping that button. Or I can also drag the scale here at the bottom if I want different incremental changes than the ones available at the top. So if I want to get a 2x speed, I can do that just by sliding it, and then you can see the length changed. And now if we play the clip, it's going to play back a lot faster than the original. The next option on the list is called reverse, and as the name suggests, it's just going to reverse your video and play it in reverse. So once you tap that, it's going to flip the video around, and it's going to play back in the reverse order. And once again, to see that, we tap on the check mark and click on the playback button on the bottom right of the wheel. Now, the next option on the list is called replace. This is what you would use to replace the existing clip with another clip from your camera roll. So if you tap on that, it's going to bring you into your camera roll or your KineMaster video assets section, where you can bring in a video, and that'll replace your existing video with the different video clip that you bring in. So the next section is called pan and zoom, and this is where we can add a zoom in effect or a zoom out effect if you want. So let me show you how you can do that. Once you tap on pan and zoom, it's going to ask you what your first frame is going to be, and then it's going to ask you to determine your last frame. So if you wanted to, let's say, zoom in, I'm just going to go into the last frame, and we could just zoom in a little bit on the video here, and then tap on the check mark. And now when we play back, it's going to zoom in. It is a very subtle effect, but it does look really cinematic. A lot of people use this effect. If you wanted to do the other way around, we just go back into pan and zoom right out of our clip, make sure it fits in, and then we're going to just zoom in the first section or the beginning, and then when we play back, it's now going to zoom out. So that is how you would make those effects. It makes it super easy to add these zoom in, zoom out effects without you having to add in keyframes and having to worry about all that. It just makes it super easy, and it's available in the menu by default. So let's take a look at the next part, which is the rotate and mirroring effect. So if you tap on that, just like the name suggests, you're going to be able to flip your clip if you want to flip it horizontally, or if you want to flip it upside down, whatever you want to do. If you want to rotate it, you can do that. So all of those controls are right here in the rotate mirroring section. And the next one is for filters. As the name suggests, that is where you would go in and bring in some video effects, just like you have on any social media. Just like Instagram, you have a bunch of different filters built in. So once you select a filter that you want, you can control the intensity. On the left, you have a little slider here, which allows you to set the amount of effect that you want to apply to your clip. So if you have an effect that is a little too intense, you can bring it down or dial it down using this slider right here, and that's how that would work. So the next option in the list is adjustment, and that is where you would go to make exposure adjustments to your clip. So as the name suggests, you have brightness, contrast, saturation, vibrance, temperature, which is the warmth of the image or the white balance, your highlights, shadows, your gain or noise in the image. And all of those settings can be applied through the adjustments section. And let me just show you the brightness. If I slide that to the right, the image gets a lot brighter. So that is how you would make those adjustments, and you can add some contrast if you want. And then when you're happy with the look that you have, you can tap on the check mark on the top right. So basically the adjustment section lets you create kind of your own filters. So if you don't like any of the built-in filters, you can just go into the adjustments and create your own filter using the settings. So the next option is clip graphics, and that is where you would have some visual effects for your video. So let's say if you want to make it a travel kind of video, you have this little animation of a plane going through. So you can add these things depending on what kind of video you're making. You have these built-in presets that you're able to add to your video. So it's pretty cool. You can check it out. You might find something that looks really good and goes with your video. And you can add all these titles and stuff like that to make it look really professional. So the next option in the list is Vignette, and if you tap on that, it's gonna just add a little black vignetting around your frame, which is gonna bring the user's attention into the center of the frame. That's where you would do that. Now let's move on to the next one in the list, which is volume envelope. This is where you can adjust the volume of your clip, just make it louder or quieter if it's too loud. So you can do all of that from here. Then you have the equalization built in, which is again for your audio. So you can do a little bit of audio tweaking and adjust your audio to make it sound better. This is not a setting that you get with a lot of video editing apps. They're limited to what you can do with the video, but you don't really get an equalizer in a lot of the popular video editing apps. But in the KineMaster app, you do get that, and there's a bunch of different presets. So if you have, like, let's say a voiceover, you can just put the voice equalizer, and it's gonna adjust the audio to the best settings for that type of clip. Now the next one in the list is again an audio setting, which is adding reverb to your audio. So you can add echoes and all that kind of stuff and add reverb. So there's different options for that. And then also we have a voice changer. So if you have a voiceover and you want to change your voice to maybe sound like a alien or whatever, if you want to make it a little funny, you can do that. And then we have extract audio. This is what you would use if you want to separate your audio clip and your video clip. So by default, your audio and video clip are one single clip, like we can see here. But if you wanted to separate those, you can do that by tapping the extract audio button, just like we did. And that is going to separate your audio track. And once you tap on the audio track, you have all of these settings that you have for audio available in the same place. And the last two options are transcode and information. You don't really have to worry about that. these are all the settings that you would mainly use to edit your videos. So now let's take a look at the wheel and the layer section of the wheel. So when you tap on the layer section of the wheel, that's going to ask you what you want to layer on top of your video, whether it's another video clip that you want to add and make a picture-in-picture or a reaction type of video. If you want to do that, if you want to add some effects, if you want to add some text, stickers, or handwriting, whatever you want to do, you can go ahead and add it through the layer section in the wheel. So let's go ahead and add a text here. So I'm just going to add a random text, call it title. Once you're happy with it, just tap on the check mark on the top right, and it's going to appear in your video clip right here. And you have the similar kind of options on the top right. You're able to trim your title, you're able to change the font, the colors, the animation, and all that stuff. You can adjust it from here. So once you're happy with the adjustments for your title, you're able to also move the title around the screen and enlarge it or make it smaller if you want, just by manipulating the title on the screen using these handles. You can rotate it. You can also move it to a corner if you want. So you can do all of that. It's pretty easy on how you can do it. And as you can see, it has created a layer on the bottom for title in yellow, and it says title. So whatever text you put in the title is going to appear here in the yellow box. And it works just like a clip where you can move it around. You can crop it in, you can trim out the ending, whatever you want to do. So let's take a look at some of the other options under layer. We also have effects. So we have your basic visual effects like a Gaussian blur or a mosaic blur, where you can pixelate a part of your video. So if you want to pixelate somebody's face out, you can do that using Gaussian blur or mosaic, whatever you want to do. That is where you would add that. And let's see what else they have here. So under sticker, you would get some little graphical effects, your basic memojis or emojis that you can add onto your video. So once you have something you like, just tap on it, and just like a title, it appears on the screen, and you have your controls, and you can move it around, rotate it, make it bigger, smaller, whatever you want to do. That's how you would do it. And once again, it appears on the bottom. That says classic stickers. That's how you would identify it, and that's how you would find it. So let's say I wanted to delete that sticker or any other clip in the timeline. It's the same process. You just make sure the clip is selected, and you can see that it's selected by the yellow rectangle around the clip. So we just tap on that, and I'm gonna go ahead and click on the delete button on the left to get rid of the sticker. And that is how you would delete clips or audio or whatever it is that you have in your timeline. If you want to get rid of it, just click on it and then click on delete. So let's take a look at the last option in the list of layers, which is handwriting. And as the name suggests, it allows you to draw on the screen on your video. So if you want to draw whatever, you can do that right here using the handwriting option. And the first one is for your pen. The second one is to change the color. So if I wanted to make it blue, I could do that. And then now I have a blue pen. And if I wanted to change the size of the pen, you can come down here at the bottom and you have different size brushes available. So you can do that. And if you want to erase it, and you have your eraser right here, just select that, and then you can take out whatever you drew and you can just erase it that way. And the last one on the list is to clear everything. So if you just tap on that, it's gonna delete everything that's on the clip. So let's go ahead and just draw something, and just, let's say I wanted to delete everything. I just tap on the last one and it just gets rid of everything. So within the pen, you also have the option to make it a little brush, like a paintbrush. So it's a little bit more blurred out and a different kind of effect. You also have a line and some arrows. So if you want to add an arrow to your video, that's how you can do that. Just click and drag, and it's going to add a bunch of different arrows. And let's go ahead and get rid of all of that. That is how you would add those effects. And that's pretty much it for the basics of video editing on KineMaster. That is all you need to know, and you'll be able to edit your videos, and you can add different effects. You can add voiceovers, add music, visual effects, different kind of blurs, different filters. You can make adjustments to your clips, and all of that within just this wheel on the top right. Let me also quickly go through the left-hand panel where you have a few different options. Like I said before, if you wanted to delete something, that is where you would delete it from. You don't go to the top right. You go to the delete button on the left panel, and you also have your settings for your project, your audio settings, your video settings, and all of that right here in the left panel. But mostly you're going to be using the wheel on the top right to make all of your settings and adjustments, and that is how you would edit your videos using KineMaster. So once you're happy with your video, we can go ahead and export your video, and to do that, we go into the top right of the wheel where we have the export logo. So just tap on that. Once you do, you can change your resolution, your frame rate, and all of that right here. You can go up to 2K, but if you want to export 4K, you'd have to pay for the app. You can't do that in the free version, but you can downgrade the clip if it's a high resolution video. You want to bring it down to save space or whatever, you can do that here, and you can change your frame rate. I don't recommend you change your frame rate after the fact, but you are able to do it right here. Once you do that, once you select the settings that you want, let's make it 1080p. We can go ahead and save video, and it's going to ask you for the premium membership, but we could just go ahead and skip that from the top right. And now it's going to save your video to your camera roll. And there you have it. Now the video has been saved into the camera roll. You also have it in the list here. So if I tap on play, it's going to open the video and just give you a quick preview of the video. As you can see, you have the KineMaster watermark on the top right, but that is how you would edit your video in KineMaster. You also have a share button on the right, so you can do that right from here, right after you export your video. And that is how you would edit your videos using KineMaster Video Editing app. If you found value in this video, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.